Are you singing to?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right, and welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. To a hearts.
Be as one.
I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Missy Waka, the writer.
Please stop doing that. We're gonna get sued.
We're gonna
Hello.
get sued for
Wait,
like that.
I don't know, but
I understand.
I just want you to stop. That's I think.
and Mike Mercadal is here.
Fuaka Mercadal.
We're gonna get
Yes.
sued by all the old school Hispanics. They're like,
Shakira,
fuaka is us. And when you say fuacata, you're like, oh, that's copyrighted, sir.
Is it? Do you think someone owns like some sort
Probably.
of trademark on fuacata?
I don't know.
That was
Probably
the name
Martha
It
of
would
of
have to
Miami.
be a trademark because if
Probably
it's
Martha of Miami.
copyright.
If anybody owns it, it would be Martha of Miami.
Hey,
She coins all those fucking phrases on t-shirts, and you're like, oh fuck, that was good. We should have done that. Anyways, thank you guys for checking us out. We got a lot of shit to talk about today. We are missing Steph Animator Senior because, dude, she may be in Australia, but she's still Hispanic. Okay.
No, it's
She runs late. That's it. That's her thing. Stop. We're starting the show at 9 p.m. today, right? For the audio listener, we're live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch at 9 instead of the regularly scheduled 8 p.m. because the country's on shutdown and her husband is on a very important business Zoom
what
call.
if the meeting went over? You don't know that.
Of course, I don't know that, but it's funnier to say she's Hispanic and she's running late. So that's
I
what
think
I'm gonna
the
go with.
viewers need to know that she's sitting backstage, but you have not let her in just so that you could. No, that's not true. None of that's true.
Oh my god, I was like, that's awful.
None of that's true.
Like, yeah.
I'm like, hang on a second.
She's just sitting there waiting to be let on, going,
let me in, motherfucker.
Get here. Why are you telling me that I'm late?
Oh well.
Hearts be as one.
That's my favorite thing in the world to get songs stuck in other people's heads. That
Earworm.
is,
No,
You
earworms
get
are
joy.
the
Did
worst.
you get the song
I
stuck in your head?
love it.
Wait, did you get that song stuck? Because I was singing it, and you were like, "Are you singing Two of Hearts?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Well, it's
Yeah.
been 3.5 minutes and we're still singing it. So
No, but my point is, did you get it stuck in my head? Because I was already singing it.
I don't know if I got it stuck in your head because I wasn't sure because you went live right as I asked the question.
Yeah,
But-
you were like, "Were you singing Two of Hearts?" And I said, "Yes," and then that's when it cut off. But I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I am. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was singing."
he does this though, and then I have to play Chumbawamba to make him stop. You did this with All My Life. Oh my god. Just those 3 words over and over again for hours on end.
That's the rule of the earworm, though, is that you can't do the whole song.
No.
You can't finish the lyric. You have to
No.
leave it hanging
Yes.
so that someone else picks up the like, "Oh baby, you," and then you just stop. And you wait for somebody
I don't know what song that
to
is.
do the
It's the
you got what I
Ah,
need.
you finished our song on yourself. You
I
didn't
hate
go
you.
for it. You fell for it.
You just gotta wait for it. I used to do that shit in the ER all the time. You would just randomly hear someone sing it like, oh man, Milli Vanilli was very popular, a super solid one.
That's
Where
me
you-
and Missy's song right there.
All right, that's our friendship song. That just randomly came on the radio, and
Girl.
we laughed
Girl.
because of the intro.
No, it didn't randomly. You are awful. I remember it.
You're
No, this is not me being pedantic. This is me telling a good story, and you're just ruining it with falsehoods. This is not the same
can't.
thing.
I
This
was
is not
gonna
being
drink.
pedantic.
I was gonna drink, and then I was like, no, let me be cool. I should have gotten a drink. Go
Oh,
on.
you should have. Go get a drink now. Who's stopping you?
No, because you're gonna talk shit, and I want to be here to defend
Talking shit.
myself.
I'm gonna talk the actual truth.
Mhm.
I brought up. I was singing. Singing in the rain.
What have we done before? Wait, what movie were we coming out of that we watched that this situation happened?
It was probably the Hobbs and Shaw movie. Was the Hobbs
No, it was Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh yeah, that movie sucked. I'm trying to forget that movie as much as possible. So,
Joy killer.
anyways, I started singing, a Milli Vanilli, "Girl, you know it's true," right? And I was
wait
singing,
for
and then I was
someone.
singing. What was the other one that they had?
Blame it on the
Blame It on the Rain.
rain.
I was Blame It on the Rain. So that's what I think I started first. And then she was like, "What the hell are you singing?" And I was like, "Milli Vanilli." And then I pointed out the fact that my favorite part about Milli Vanilli's "Girl, You Know It's True" is the intro, is the pause.
Because there's an awkward pause.
There's a pause, and then we played it, and from then on,
you know it's true.
yeah.
I
it's
have
like
a T-shirt now. Like that's how long this bit has been going. He got me a T-shirt for breakfast. What the fuck for Christmas? And
T-shirts for breakfast.
I don't know.
Yolanda says life is short. Get the drink.
Well, our mom told me to. So,
but so I did a lot of these earworms, and I enjoy very much. We did an episode of Geekmore about the earworm episode. And then Dave, right, who I love, he decides to do earworms that he loves, and we're like, no, we're talking about songs that get stuck in your head that you don't want stuck in your head, like the most catchy earworms. And he was like, no, these are songs that I love, and I was like, okay.
I would have done my mountain as the most potent, like which ones are the strongest. Whether you love them or not is irrelevant.
No, but if the ones that are most potent are like Barbie Girl, the ones that get stuck in your head are not the ones you love. Are the ones you go, fuck, I can't get that song out of my head.
But here's my only counterpoint to that is that there are sometimes a song you love that gets stuck in your head, and then because it's rattling around in there so long, you start to hate it.
There's so like much on rotation in my head that what's a song?
It's like when you start dating a chick, and then you date her so long that you start hating her. You no longer like her. That's when she becomes your ex, and then it's not you know what I mean. You can't hold on to that first feeling. Oh, I used to love this song. Then you don't love it anymore.
So just FYI, it's episode 94 of Geekmore. If anyone is interested in checking that, go on, Michael.
Can you run that by me again one more time?
So once you stop loving something, it's no longer a song that I love, right? Because you ran it so much in your head that you stopped loving it. That now you hate it. Therefore, it's no longer a song that you love.
And you're equating a human being to.
Well, I'm equating something that you stop loving. I don't know anything else that I've ever stopped loving. Once I stopped, I've never stopped loving a dog. So I don't know anything else that I stopped loving other than songs and humans. I've never unloved anything else. Have you? What else have you unloved?
I don't understand the premise of the question because we're talking about. Because you didn't say love. You said like originally. Like you date a girl and then you stop you like her, and then you date her so long that you stop liking her.
Well, I don't mean that you date her so long that you stop. Like you date her so long, and when the process of dating her for a long time, things happen, and you no longer like her. So when somebody asks you at that point, "Do you like this girl?" You're like, "No, I don't." You don't say shit like "I used to." That doesn't count. It's about now, in the now.
In the now. Okay. All right. I'm going to just say
out of this, what I'm trying to say is that Mike has a new girlfriend. That's what I'm trying to get to.
What the fuck?
Trying to get to.
We have to work on segues, guys.
This is an amazing segue. Did you guys see that coming? No, nobody saw that coming.
That's not a segue then.
It's not a segue. This is how he signed off from our call last time. He's like, by the way, click on her like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Congrats.
So yeah, Bill Cosby, right? He's out.
This is a bit chaotic.
My segue was so much better.
Yeah, I know. No,
we couldn't hear whatever you pressed. Did you press something? Because we couldn't hear it.
I didn't
know.
Oh, I thought you did. Sorry.
We are off.
My segue was much better.
The rails.
I don't want to
yeah,
talk about Bill Cosby. Can we skip that though? Because
we can.
I'm like in a good mood and I don't want to get angry.
I have a
Is you
new
in a good mood?
girlfriend. I have a new girlfriend. It's great. She's from Venezuela, and I like we in the process of us talking. This is in New York. We were talking about like, oh, I used to live on Miami Beach, and I used to live, this. She's like, oh my God, I used to live on Miami Beach. We ended like we did the math. We lived 3 buildings apart from each other like years ago.
Serendipity.
Like it's like we were like right next to each other for however long, right there where I used to live.
That's great.
Yeah, everything's going really, really well, and
She has the most Hispanic name of all time.
I don't want to use her real name.
We're not gonna.
It's Chiquita Sanchez. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. Chiquita Sanchez.
Chiquita Sanchez.
I don't know what the fuck that came from.
I wanted to say them because she has like I'm not obviously gonna say her name, but she has a super Hispanic name. And when he told me, because there's certain Latin names that you can't Englishify, that you're like it's like
Such as.
I'm trying to think of something that's not actually her name. So I'm trying.
Don't
I gave the example of Chiquita, like Chiquita, like you can't like
Shakira.
I keep saying Chiquita and you keep saying Shakira, and
that was literally the first time. That was literally the first time I said that. But go on.
No, that's no okay. But it's so weird.
It's gonna be so much fun. Where the hell are you, Stephanie?
The odds aren't in your favor right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But
rough.
also, like, here's the point of it.
I love the
Hispanic,
name, super Hispanic, but I love the name. And it's not that I love the name. I'm like, oh, that's
Mike's happy. Great. That's all we care about. Look at him. Look at him.
I don't want to get. I mean, like, it's still also pretty new. It's pretty new, so I don't want to.
Anyway.
Oh, she's gonna have to talk to I told my dad about that. I was seeing somebody new.
Now you let me know that you talked about it to your dad, and your dad hadn't told her. So now she's like, you haven't told me.
It's the same girl. Yes. Ooh, Mamma Mia, Papa Pia.
Guys, I picked a fight with Perez Hilton last week.
Right? How'd that go?
He never answered me, which is disappointing. But the tweet did take off and got like I don't know how many like 5,000
like
something thousand likes.
You went mini viral,
I guess, and a lot of people retweeted it, and I was like, oh, I was just trying to pick a fight with him, guys. I wasn't trying.
Tell him the other part.
What's the other part?
That he didn't respond to me. He never responded.
Oh, he never responded to me directly, but other people that were interacting with the tweet like added him and asked him, "This is the one tweet you have not replied to," and he said something like "I know" or something like that. So he knows he's a piece of shit.
He replied to every other comment,
but not mine,
but not Missy.
And I wanted to fight, but he did not give me the satisfaction.
But he's a piece. Like, man, I gotta be honest. I've been like on some of these gossip things, and every bit of high ground that these people have talking about a celebrity or whatever, every time there's a post or something, I keep coming back to the fact that everything is about appearance, and everything is a comment on how people look, everything is a comment on whatever, and then everybody's trying to out snark and out sass everyone else in the comments. And you're right to call him out, because that's not a sassy thing. It was like, yo, this motherfucker is not
full of shit.
It's full of shit. Like when Us Weekly and some other people started tweeting out Free Britney, it's like,
TMZ,
you remember
Harvey Levine, I think is how you say his last name. He got a drag too for a couple of days, because this guy, back when she was in the midst of her psych holds, the multiple ones she had like 13 years ago, he went into the hospital and was posting her medical records, Mike. Like, not like we heard a nurse said. No, like here's her, and you know. Now you can't turn around and be like, oh man, this is a violation. It's like, yeah, but you were part of the fucking environment that
you made millions of dollars
that created this shit show. So like, and they wouldn't be successful if there wasn't a market for this shit. So I really think it's commentary on a larger scale. But I'll write about that.
That's what I'm saying. I hate it. Like, because I'm in a gossip group with someone that used to come to my show all the time, and I go in there and I just like the positive ones. I always like when they're like, Keanu Reeves is amazing again. Like all of these things.
I love him.
I love those. But then every time, because then there's also the ones about like, they walk that fine line. Well, I'll say there's more women in the group than men by a wide margin, and there's a very large British contingent of people in that group, and they really have it like down to a science because they killed their princess with all of this shit.
Correct.
Because there's all of this stuff when stuff that the Harry and Meghan stuff was happening and all that, and there was just a lot of that real stark commentary about they're commenting on her appearance because she's black and this, that, and the other. But then in the next post, there's something about how Prince William looks like shit now. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, that's body shaming, guys. Like
no, but he does really shit though, right? I mean,
yeah, but that's not the that's the point of the post.
Yeah,
like,
that's the point of the joke. That's it.
And when I called it out, there was a lot of like, oh well, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, and I had to like screen. Not I didn't have to do this. I did. I screen captured a bunch of people who were like commenting, like, oh, but that's not what we said. And then I was like, it's just scroll up. It's right there. Like you said this is all straight up body shaming. And I'm like, it's when it comes to gossip columns and all this stuff, people got short memories and even shorter morals. And it's just, there's no high ground. Everybody's just trying to like get some sort of click and it's not even like the people commenting on these things or tweeting about it. They're not making money off of it. So when you see people just being mean for no reason, it drives me fucking crazy, because then you'll scroll down a little further and you'll see them saying that someone was being mean to someone they like, and they're like, oh, that's fucked up, that's racist.
So the pettiness makes you,
the hypocrisy. Yes. The fucking like lack of self-awareness of like, this guy built his fucking career on
the thing is that now he's lost a lot of steam. Because it's not like what we need to remember from the olden days of 10, 15 years ago is that it was the wild, wild west with the paparazzi back then. It's not as civilized as it is now, so there was a market for the Perez Hiltons and the TMZs to just fucking run with it, right? And now it's a little bit more I don't know what the word is, but it's tamer, I would say, than it was 15 years ago.
Well, because celebrities have their own social medias now.
Because of social media, right. And they have more control over their narrative. And the paparazzi still get tipped off. I think Olivia Munn's publicist is rumored to have tipped off paparazzi to take pictures of her with John Mulaney out to lunch, like candids, which I have such a love-hate relationship with candids, because I just think I get the point, but anyway,
that's one that I saw.
Anyways, you can't stop you in the middle of what?
Well, I didn't want to make it personal, but just like the candids, I'm not obviously very comfortable in front of a camera. My thing is words, and like podcasting was fun because I don't really think I have a face for broadcast anything. But now I'm working with a friend on a new direction of my website and a bunch of stuff that I'm working on that's requiring me to be like have to promote myself, I guess, by taking pictures. And I had like a whole thing. I had to call Nary and I was like, am I stupid? He's like, yeah, post a picture.
Yeah.
Because I was out and a friend of mine took a candid, which was 1,000% a candid, but
who cares if they're not a candid? Like,
but
that's the thing that nobody but you cares.
Or will notice.
Like, but I'm saying like nobody's gonna judge you based upon like, oh, that's not a candid. Like, who the fuck does that? Nobody nobody aside from Missy, who does that?
Do that.
Aside from Missy, who does that? Nobody looks at an Instagram post and goes, that's not a fucking candid.
And it's not even like I'm important. Like literally everybody I know is the one that supported that picture, which is on my Instagram at Missy the Writer. But still, I was super cringy about it. But that tied into Olivia Munn and John Mulaney for some reason.
It's funny that I encourage her to post that, and then
Oh my God.
in
And
the
then I'm
morning.
on the phone with him and
I'm on the
he
phone with him, and I'm like, look at this fucking whack ass chick bullshit. Oh, look at me, it's a candid. That ain't no fucking candid. And it's like literally her.
I was
I'm
like,
like,
good night, sir. And I just
How
hung up on
rude.
him.
No, but it's true. Like, you're promoting yourself. Eventually, you have to put a face on whatever it is you're promoting, unless anonymity is the thing you're promoting.
No, that's not true. Because if we learn anything from about cats and dogs, the truth about cats and dogs is that you don't have to post a picture of yourself.
What?
You can also post pictures of dogs and cats, and as your headshot, and people will find it charming.
Yeah.
Is
As
that what the
somebody
premise
who's
of that
on
movie
dating
was?
apps,
So the premise was
maybe in the 90s, but not
Janine
now.
Garofalo hits it off with a guy, but she doesn't like the way she looks, so she's a voice on the radio, and she tells this guy that she is her roommate, played by Uma Thurman. So
Right.
the guy falls in love with personality wise Janine Garofalo, but Janine has told him that she looks like Uma Thurman, her roommate. And when he went to the radio station, right, like to meet her, they had all the headshots of all the radio personalities, and then her radio personalities, because her show was about cats and dogs, was about animals. She had a headshot of animals, and so he laughed. He's like, "Oh, it's charming." So therefore,
Yeah, but what year?
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
I'm just saying it was a great fucking pool, and you
I
guys
have to
were
tell
like,
you that I don't see a lot of cats. I mean, I do see cats and dogs, but not as the profile picture.
Where
On
did
Hinge.
that reference come from? Have you seen that movie or thought about that movie in the last 20 years?
sure.
Really?
Mary's brain is an
I think about
amusement
that movie
park.
I think
Yes.
about that. I think about many movies, but I think I haven't seen it in probably maybe 20.
That'll change.
Well, let me see. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it since 14 years has been since my wife and I got been together. So I haven't seen it since then. I know that much. But I haven't.
Why did you do that?
Because not yet. Let her wait. We waited for her. She can wait for us. But because
Can you add my friend? You asshole.
but I
we
have
competing producers in the booth.
But I thought about that movie a few times, specifically that scene of him going to the radio station and being like, "Oh, look, it's a
Well, the mistaken identity thing is, I mean, it's kind of a common trope in like movies,
Left
like
turn. Can we let Steph in now or?
Fine.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
Hi, Steph.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
What did I miss?
Oh, a lot in 20 minutes.
Do you remember
Of
the movie
course.
The Truth About Cats and Dogs?
I kind of do. Yeah.
Garofalo, Uma Thurman, a charming
Yeah.
a charming
I remember
British
always
girl.
wanting to be Janine Garofalo back in the day.
Oh,
I legit think
she's underrated as fuck.
that time in that movie, I thought personally, I'm watching this movie. I don't know. Can you pull that year of that movie that came out so I can tell you the
Sure.
actual age I was? Because I remember being of a certain age where I thought everything was attractive, and I legitimately believed that Uma Thurman was more attractive than
Janine Garofalo.
Janine Garofalo was more attractive than Uma Thurman.
96.
96.
She had a certain like.
I was 15, and I remember thinking to myself, why is she saying that she looks like this? Like she's better looking than Uma Thurman. I don't understand. Like I didn't
It's what
get the
they
logic.
tell us.
This is a very like real thing in terms of like what I grew up being attracted to and what I still am. I think because we're Latino, that we're around a lot more brunettes and short brunettes than we are tall blondes. That's just what we end up liking more. I think.
I would agree with that.
I was gonna say that like
Mary.
Mary's first girlfriend was a lesbian, and I'm bi as hell, and that's why we vibed with Janine Garofalo. Like,
I think
exactly.
Janine Garofalo is better looking than in that movie. I had a crush
in that
oh,
movie.
in that movie especially. Though.
I'll give you the perfect example. In Teen Wolf, Boof was way hotter than Pam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
His
Gotta-
Also, in Boomerang, Halle Berry
got
is
no
way
mental image of
hotter
that one.
than everybody else on the planet. So there's no reason to go to anybody else but Halle Berry.
Oh, you meant okay. I
Um,
thought you were talking about the TV show. I was like, Mike, you watch Teen Wolf?
I will never watch that show. Teen Wolf only exists with
I was
Michael J.
very
Fox.
confused.
I
wait,
was.
wait,
con-
wait, that's not true. It also exists, not just with Michael J. Fox, but it also exists with what's his name? The Booth guy. What's his name? Bluth.
Oh yeah, Jason Bateman was
Jason
in Teen
Bateman.
Wolf too.
That's right,
But
Jason
I
Bateman.
don't like that one.
No, I don't care
Hashtag
if you
not
like
my
it. It's
Teen
real.
Wolf.
It's
Not my
Teen
Teen
Wolf. Here's what I will say. I would agree with that thought process, Mike. As far as the brunettes and Hispanic people, when we grew up around that. If it wasn't for the fact that in my group of like friends that I've known since 6th grade, in that group, I am in the vast, and there's like probably like 12 guys. I am in the vast minority of guys who prefer brunettes over blondes. Everybody else in that group, and then they're like, "Oh, this weirdo." And I'm also the minority in that chat in that group. I'm the minority of guys who prefer ass over boobs, and I'm also the minority of guys who prefer thick women over thin women.
But you like Latina women.
Everybody like
Yeah, you just described
Mike
the
has a point.
stereotypical.
everybody else. I'm telling you, everybody else in that chat likes tall, blonde, skinny women with big boobs, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about boobs, and I'd rather a brunette. And it took me a long time to even learn that about myself. I was like 30 years old until somebody like, oh yeah, you like brunettes, and I was like, what? Like I never classified that as myself. I never like put myself in a box, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Oh
Yeah,
shit!
building on building on that. But like I think that's because they still they still prefer women from that were told that was what like Missy said, what everyone told was attractive to us at a certain age, right? Like Baywatch, tall blonde was no ass was like really big in the 90s. Like I remember growing up being confused when like in movies and TV and stuff like that, whenever the women would do the joke of like, does my ass look fat in this? And like all those jokes that you would see, like I was like, why don't you want that? Like when I was really confused, like why is that bad? Like I don't get, I never
For white
could
people,
not,
probably.
maybe like I think back then it was, and then all of a sudden nowadays like it's like the more you got.
Well,
I think
yeah.
a person who to
Swap.
blame, I think it's not my parents or the fact that I'm Hispanic. It's Sir Mix-a-Lot. I think he's primarily
Yeah.
like
He
if
did
I
the
could
Lord's
point a
work.
finger, he could be like, no, I like big butt. And then the beginning of the song was like, ew, she like, like you know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, that is gross. Yeah, I don't want.
Like we were excited, like, oh my god, Becky, look at her butt. It's so
Yeah.
big.
It's so
Not
big.
like, oh my god, Becky.
Yeah.
Look at it. We
Oh
were
my
all
god, I
excited.
was legit 9 years old knowing that song from start to finish.
Same.
The benefits
Uh-oh.
of
Baby's crying.
not
You're gonna have to mute her for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, mute me for a second.
the benefits. That's not muting.
Whatever.
Can you hear it? Can you hear the baby crying still?
The benefits of having a single parent that does not speak English. So could never get in trouble for that, or Two Life Crew, or when I started listening to Tupac, or any of
listen
that
to-
shit. Yeah, they
But
don't know.
Sir Mix-a-Lot was very much like a
It's tame after
PG-rated.
WAP. It's tame after WAP.
I mean, it's see, this is what happened. Wife and kids, man. Wife and kids.
Look at us. Free, no interruptions.
Take Larry out of the thing. Take Larry out. Take Larry out of the thing. No distractions. Get him out of here.
Um,
Are
Did
you in
hear that
trouble?
conversation? I didn't know if you could hear it or not.
Yeah, you're in trouble, right?
No.
Oh, I just took a guess.
I mean, it was a solid guess. Tony Mercadal commented and said, "Which dad did you tell? Because you didn't tell me."
I did. I didn't
just-
say we were. When I told him.
Which just screams, "Hey, don't get me fucking in trouble with my wife.
Yeah.
Get the fuck up. You know you didn't tell me."
You think you're gonna throw me under the bus? Here's me reversing it.
To be
Wink, wink,
fair,
cough, cough. So just say you're right that I lied. I did not tell you.
to be fair, when I told him anything about her, I went out with this new girl. It was like after the first date or something like that, and she wasn't my girlfriend yet.
So how does somebody like, because you're 39, So how does somebody make it official? How does
Yes.
somebody go like in their for? Because I'm not. I'm new
For
to-
future.
I've not
for
been dating in forever. So how do you
Same.
pass your note and say, do you like this circle? Yes or no? Like
Circle
is
yes or
there
no.
a specific? Is there a text message with a checkbox? Is there a Instagram poll? Something.
Yeah, no, we just check
It's
our
not Facebook anymore, right?
Yeah, no, it's not Facebook official anymore. Here's the irony, man. I don't fucking know. Like there's who fucking knows? But that's one thing that did the reason why we are together is because there was a lot of like, hey, I turned 40 tomorrow. I turned 40 in a little bit. The idea that I'm going to waste time. No, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, what's the
I
point
don't
of
do
it?
it
Can you
that
say
way.
words? Can you say words? Because I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how to translate
That's
that.
my point. There is no
Games.
translating that.
Like
The-
the
like,
games, the
all
back and
of
forth.
that
Yeah.
insecure. Do you like me? Check this box. Yes, there's no need for any of that
Sure,
stuff.
but how did you make it monogamous?
They
How did
just
you make it exclusive?
decided.
So
I mean,
that's the conversation. Did you have a conversation or was it assumed? That's what I'm asking.
No, I'll tell you how it started, right? So we matched on like Tinder, which was a surprise to me that and she swiped right and then she messaged something and then I didn't message back right away because I was at work and then she got snarky and snippy and then I was like, hey, I was at work, I'm sorry. And I was just kind of like playing it out, laughing, whatever, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever.
I was hungry.
Or yeah, do you have a Snickers? Then we ended up, but we were planning like, oh, well, let me see each other. She's got a busy schedule. I've got a busy schedule. Like, we'll plan something for like the next week. But then I was like, hey, why don't we have a call? Like, why don't we have a phone call tomorrow? Like, I'll give you a call when I get home from work, and then we can actually have like a conversation, which I think's too many. Like, people text too long. By the time you get to have a conversation with somebody, you can't hear the response. There's no flow to it, so you can get all your shit out in text message form, and then by the time you actually have a conversation with someone, that conversation is dry because I know that already. It's like trying to date with like an Excel spreadsheet and you're like, check.
Ew.
Right, check, gotcha.
The least fun of the programs.
Yeah. So then we had like this conversation for a long conversation, and then we went out the first night, and it was we just like met up really quick. She was dog sitting, so we just walked her dog, and then had some dinner, and then that was it. It was nice. And then by the next date, I will say I was proud of my second date because which felt like a third date by the time we got to the third date, but the first date felt like the second, et cetera, because of the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
We took the New York City ferry from where her apartment is all the way down. Mm-hmm. We had a bodega picnic where we just got sandwiches and snacks. And then we took the ferry back. Less than $10. Perfect.
That's what you're proud of?
Perfect date.
Efficiency?
It was the Dave Chappelle
It was the half-baked
date.
Crushing it.
Where Mike stuck his hand in a homeless man asking for change. He stuck his hand in there, and then it went up like, like, oh, thanks, man, appreciate it.
It was 100%. But that's the thing is that here's the best part. If she would not have appreciated that, then it like there's no like masking that. Like like if you don't if you don't
that's someone else's horrible date.
Like do whatever
you're not
it is.
feeling the person.
Yeah. So basically, do whatever it is in you to do. Say whatever it is in you to say. Stop navigating it because the person who you'll click with will respond positively to whatever it is you're saying. Like don't pretend. If you are a piece of shit, and you are saying shitty things, and that person doesn't like you, then work on yourself because you don't deserve.
No, continue being a piece of shit, and then eventually another piece of shit
until you wear her down.
Another piece of shit will come along, and then
she's just playing hard to get.
If only pieces of shit could date each other, and then you don't get stuck.
Just continue being a piece of shit, and sooner or later you'll find your piece of shit, your partner a piece of shit.
Look, put Yolanda's comment up because I think that is not necessarily true. It's what she wrote. No, the first one, the last one.
I know. I just want to. I just like the fact that you're like, no, not that one. The other one. Just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Wait, why no?
No, because if you don't take the time to work on yourself, who you are is not good. Like if
So
you're,
I
you know
need
what I'm
to
talking
know
about?
that up front.
No, that's not accurate.
I don't think. Don't be yourself. Be your best self.
No,
But then you're lying.
I completely
You're not lying.
disagree with that. I completely
Who?
disagree with that.
Tell me how.
Be the person that you're going to be.
Yeah.
Now, if that person happens to be your best self, if you're working towards being your best self at all times, then great. Then be that person. But if you can't hold that up, like if I can't, I'm not gonna go to a restaurant with a girl and be like, I'm just gonna have a salad. I'm not gonna set the bar. I'm not gonna set the bar so high to make her think that I'm always gonna be eating salad for the rest.
That's like people who think.
I'm giving you. Yes, it is. That's exactly how you're coming out.
That's not what I'm talking about at all.
Literally what you're saying.
No, it is not. Let me explain.
Finish.
No, because I'm stopping you right there because it's not about what the fucking food you eat. It's
No,
about
I'm
who
not-
you are,
He's
man.
using as a metaphor, man.
A metaphor, guy. Jesus, do you know metaphors? This hasn't been taken literal. How is this possible?
Okay,
You
that's Mike.
understand that?
Wait.
Question, Mike. Do you mean
No, I'm not
from scratch? Okay.
Sorry.
Go.
I'm
Steph.
sorry, Steph. I was replying to him cutting me off. I'm fucking sorry I cut you off. Go ahead. Not you. I'm not mad at you, Steph. Mad at fucking Mike for not understanding metaphors. It's absurd. A 40-year-old man doesn't understand metaphors. He's
not 40 yet. What the fuck?
It's gonna be in 3 hours.
I'll get to Neri.
Okay, Mike. Do you mean that from the get you should automatically be trying to be your best self, as in trying to evolve constantly, and that's what you're bringing, or are you saying like?
I'm not talking about relationships.
You need to live up to this. You're talking about. You're just talking about.
If you are
full stop, you need to be your best self.
If you are content being a mediocre person and not improving your life at all times and all stuff, if you're content sitting in shit like we were talking about earlier, Neri, about complaining about shit but not doing anything to change it.
I know. Are we actually complaining about shit, or are we think metaphorically? Are we complaining about things? Because it's difficult to tell now where you're fucking going. Because
right,
you don't understand metaphors. I'm just trying to make sure.
If you want to be semantic about it, what you're talking about is an example, not a metaphor.
Oh my god, this hurts so much.
So if you want to be pedantic, what I'm getting at is that if you as a person aren't ready to be dating because you are not happy with yourself, it's going to be infinitely harder to get through the bullshit.
What you said, though. No, it's not. You said on a date, don't be yourself, be the best self, be the best version of yourself on a date.
Is this what it's like arguing with me?
You said that. And that's what's throwing
No,
me
we're
off.
perfect.
That's what's throwing off me and Missy, because we heard that don't be yourself on a date, be the best version of yourself on a date.
Right.
And that to us sounds like you're upselling.
Like you're out.
What does that imply? Let me ask the question. What does that imply about being dishonest? How is that dishonest?
Because you're not gonna, if it's not what's the word I always look for, Missy, when I'm talking about like dieting. I'm giving the example, Mike, just so you know.
Sustainable.
Sustainable. If it's not sustainable. If the behavior you're projecting on that date of quote unquote your best self is not sustainable, then therefore you are upselling, and you are as much as it may be unintentional, you are selling a lie. Because if you're telling this girl, if you're setting the table up and you're saying, hey, on a first date, this is who I am, I open doors for you. If you're not gonna do that from then on out, then don't do that on the first date.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying if you are not going to sustain that for the rest of the relationship, then don't do that, because you're making it. Because then she has all the right in the world to say you're not the person I fell in love with, because you're fucking not. Because you gave it. The person she fell in love with was the best version of yourself, which is clearly unsustainable. Now, if you're going to continue that, if you're going to continue all those behaviors, like I think you did it perfect. You go to a bodega and you're cheap as fuck. That way, you're setting the bar so low, and she was down for that it's only up from here. That's that part obviously. But my point is, that's all I'm saying. Me and Missy had the misconception, because you said, "Oh, you can't."
Don't throw Missy under the bus. Let Missy speak for herself.
Well, because we agreed, but okay.
Oh, okay. So I think there may have been a break in communication here. Dad just got scotch. Because I think, and I could be wrong, so correct me, but Mike, I think what you're saying is like bring your best self to a relationship. But what I heard, was Oh, I can. Okay. What we heard was, like the way that you would bring your best self to an interview is what you should bring to a date. And we apparently disagree with that notion. But I think that's not what you said. That's just how
you interpreted it.
How we heard it.
Correct.
Right.
Hence why I asked
Yolanda
if
said,
this
"Be
is what it sounds
yourself."
like when people argue.
I
Yolanda-
said, don't be yourself.
You were
I
talking
said,
about
be your
dates.
best self.
We were talking about dates, and you said, "No, don't be yourself on a date. Be your best self on a date." And we were like, "What? That doesn't. What? How is
You
that?"
said a question about sex? What did you say, Missy? I heard
I have
a
a question about sex because one long ago somebody mentioned to me that, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this just out the gate. So that this is not my Hilda. I love her. She's my friend now. We're gonna be neighbors.
I love that Neri does that when he's not paying attention. He just starts reading the comments.
That's not true. I do that when there's not a comment to have to say audibly. Like that's not an you don't need to address that audibly. We could just.
So I don't agree with this opinion. I just want to bring it to the room that if you're first time you're hooking up with somebody, that you should bring your A game, and then after that, like let's say you bring 100% the first time, every time after that, stay between 70 and 80%. Because then you'll keep them wanting more. I wholeheartedly disagree with this philosophy.
I don't even know how that would be possible.
So
I don't understand how you hold back. Like, no. I could give her more sex, but I'm gonna. Like, how do you hold back?
I don't understand.
Well,
let's
give them like my
where's
move.
the fuel gauge or speedometer on my body to know how much I'm giving? Like, 100. It's all or nothing, baby. What do you want from me?
Question. Wait, hold on. Was this a man who told you? And like maybe in his head, he's like, "Babe, I don't." Okay,
it's a woman that told you this. It was a woman that told you this.
So
it was
she
a woman.
knows, like she knows that she has like a move. She has her like go-to move that she could like.
This sounds so unnecessarily complicated.
Is this a woman who's been with more than one man?
Well,
yeah.
Okay. No,
Missy, is it you?
No, it's not me.
Is this one of those things that you ask for a friend?
It's not me.
Okay, so
Mary, you were part of that conversation.
This all relates. I promise. Years upon years ago, I was emceeing, right, which is in a comedy show.
It's gonna be a journey.
In a comedy show, that's the first person up on stage. There's the MC, there's a feature spot, which is the middle act, and then there's the headliner, which is the closer. I was emceeing at a comedy show. I'm not gonna talk about the club. But the guy that was featuring was not very good. Okay, this is not my opinion. This is stated by
like it's an objective,
like
or a consensus, like the people involved.
You could read the room.
Not only read the room, but management. So I get a conversation come up to me on the next day saying, "Hey, we're gonna switch you, and you're gonna be featuring. He's gonna be emceeing." Great. I was like, "Whatever you want is your decision. I'm not telling him. You tell him. I didn't ask you for this. This is whatever." Then the following day, apparently, after there was lots of complaints by his agent and management, it got switched back around. I was emceeing. The manager asked me, "Can you do me a favor and can you hold back?" And I said to him what I'm saying to you now about the sex thing. I don't know how to hold back. And then he thought I was being funny, but I wasn't. I said, no, you don't understand. When it comes to like giving a sports example, baseball, you just don't swing. That's you holding back, right? You just don't swing, or you swing at shit way too late so that you get a strike and whatever. That's you throwing the game. I don't know how to not take a swing in comedy. I don't know how to not take a swing in sex. So therefore, I don't understand this 70, 80% bullshit. Because in my mind, I'm like, wait, what? How do you hold? Like, how do you know to hold? And how do you
Unless
not?
You're being a dead fish for a bit. Like
I think that it's an antiquated strategy or philosophy of like the carrot, holding the carrot over the person's head. I don't know. I don't track the logic. I don't support it. I think it's fucking ridiculous.
Maybe she just doesn't give head the next 2 times. I'm trying to figure out what her 70-80% is. I mean, like,
this is what it sounds like.
What's the math? What's the math? Like, where does everything lie for her to like
I don't know. I didn't ask because when she made that comment, I was like, that's stupid. Like that was like my legit response. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But I wanted to see if maybe I'm crazy. It's like one of those things where I asked a few weeks ago on my IG, like, is sending nudes like like a point in the talking dating phase? Is that just normal, or is that like some people think they're entitled to your nudes and some people aren't? And the overwhelming response was, no, it's not a new normal. Like you can or you can't, but it's not like this thing of like how you would think like coffee, lunch, dinner is like a natural progression in dating.
Coffee, lunch, titties.
Right. I'm wondering. I was wondering if it was just like a thing that I didn't get that email.
To our listener, antiquated means old fashioned.
Oh my
god. I knew what antiquated was when Missy said it. I was just wanted to.
It's when you have the autonomy. Antiquated.
So here's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like some of these people need to stop fucking people they don't like, because like if you like, what the hell, man?
You know what you're so you know what you're right, which is another aside from the fact that we actually know now, it's another telltale sign that there wasn't a dude, because there's no dude that's like, no, I'm gonna fuck as hard as I can every single time. Like I don't understand. I just don't
the right move.
And here's the awkward.
By hard, I just mean as best as I can.
Let's be realistic.
I was saying, because like sometimes that hard is like from certain people.
Nobody understands.
It's not about. It's about. First of all, it's like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like these ain't exactly rules; they're more guidelines. Like there are no rules to this shit, man. If the person wants to get the bottom knocked out and wants you to pound them through the fucking mattress, they'll let you know. You know what I mean? Like if
when that girl told Mike,
hopefully,
yeah, like the thing is, if your incompatibilities start. Like don't like it's are from the get. Like if you're already figuring out how to manipulate someone through sex, I guarantee you that person is not their best self. That they, you know what I mean? If they're not working, if they're still worried about how to manipulate how to manipulate a man with their pussy, if they're still trying to figure that out, then they got to grow up a little bit, because like come on, man, who the fuck still like again, I'm old man dating right now. I'm
manipulate yourself, manipulate that guy with Instagram posts, like fucking rest of us. Grow up.
Pictures of your pussy.
You don't have to bait.
Yeah. Watch his Instagram story enough so that he notices, and then he'll send the subliminal message. No, who gives a fuck, man? Like whatever.
Let's get to some comments. Hold on. Yolanda says, I'm not saying fart on the first date. I just think that you should be relaxed and content with yourself, not change for anyone. Rookie says, Rookie, our
true fan, the OG, the day one, and our single, right, as of right now. I think we already have one. What am I thinking about, Mike? Patreon, thank you very much. The first time
when you keep bringing up only, it kind of brings the value down.
That's not true. I'm
give him some company.
A lot of OnlyFans. of OnlyFans, and somehow the only just keeps multiplying. So that's not necessarily true.
Anyway, Rookie says
the first time you're learning what the other person is into and seeing if you're compatible. Completely agree. If the first time is the best sex you have, that's kind of a red flag. Correct.
That is great.
It should only get better from that. It should only
it should just keep building.
People don't want to talk. I had a friend of mine that used to be like, I'm banging a different girl every night, and I'm like, wow, there's a whole lot of girls out there that think you're mediocre at sex. Like that you're like, because the first time is clumsy, the first time, or you're being completely selfish, and you're just
Batman. We're looking at you, Batman.
I've had sex with women that we only had sex that one time, and it was really fucking good. I'm not saying that it was the best. I'm saying it was really fucking good. Now, could it have been better? If we got to know each other better and we started dating, sure, maybe. I'm not saying, but it definitely. There's been plenty of times where and we.
Was it like the first night? Like, was it the first night that you met them?
Well, what I was gonna.
But let's say like you kind of had a little bit like of a buy-in, I guess, like a little bit of interest.
Some foundation.
Literal to me, Stephanie, because I don't understand when you give.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Neri's dumb. What? How long have we been doing the show that you guys haven't picked up on it?
Great. Yolanda says your dad and I didn't hold back on the first date.
Yeah. Yolanda
farted, and then
for sure my dad farted, and then for sure my dad.
Their mating dance is really weird.
Yeah, it's like, look what I had to learn from. Well, how it's amazing to me that I am this healthy.
Hilda says, so now they call them nudes. We used to call them business cards.
Wow.
Oh, send them
Nice.
a business.
A lot of shit
I
gets
like that.
rebranded, but it's
I
the
like
same
that.
stuff.
I vote for the "What's Up, Bro" T-shirts with Yolanda quote.
Yes,
Legit.
a
That's
thousand.
great.
A
Pussy farts.
Oh, and then that was her buying.
That's the best. That is the best follow-up fucking comment to I vote for Yolanda T-shirts with your. I vote for "What's Up, Bro" T-shirts with Yolanda quotes, and Yolanda followed that up with "pussy fart." Like
Pussy
just
farts. Drop,
just
bang.
drop that in or walk away.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Now
Oh, wow.
we are 49 minutes into this podcast. We could continue going, but we're not gonna get funnier than that. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Pussy fart wins.
Pussy fart is where it fucking
Yeah.
that is the alpha and the omega. That is the beginning and the end, my friends. That is the
Wow.
shit.
That's the name
Oh,
of the.
man.
That's the name of the episode. Alpha and Omega. Colon.
Pussy
Pussy
fart. Yeah. What I'm getting at is the kind of guy who would be banging a girl every night for the sheer conquest of it all is not the guy who's going to be providing these women with a fulfilling sexual experience unless he's swinging a major club. You know what I mean?
He's doing it for himself.
Yeah, like he's clearly got an agenda,
You
or
need to unpack that.
or the girls that he's with are. What I'm saying is that people go into a relationship. This is, like, hey, we're all guilty of this stuff when you're young and trying to figure all this stuff out. You're trying to learn the formulas to get success, whatever that means. And then as a guy, a lot of it is like, and I think a lot of it was what you bring to the table. Like what does this girl give for me? What does this girls want? Like, oh, what is this guy gonna give to me? Rather than what you bring to the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, rather than what you bring to the partnership, like, figure out how to make that as plentiful and abundant. Like, what do you bring to the show rather than what the other girl brings to you? And then that allows you the opportunity to be like, hey, I don't like this person. This person is not bringing anything to the table. Rather, it sounds hollow coming from somebody who doesn't know who the fuck they are, because then it's like, who the fuck are you? But if you know who you are and what you bring to the table, then whatever they bring to the table is actually like a real thing that you can measure against and
objectively.
You can be objective and realize
you're not waiting for them to build you up.
Correct.
Exactly. True compatibility.
And I also think that that's a great place. I'm new to this confidence stuff. And I also think it's a great place to build your confidence from, where you're fully aware, and it's not arrogance. It's just like, I know what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm not going to settle for anything that's outside, like not outside of that, but maybe it sounds awful, but like beneath it, or like a lesser than of that.
But you know your worth. There's a difference between, but because it's not about comparing it. It's not about.
Hold on. Are we talking about right now as far as know your worth? And are we talking about sex, or are we talking about relationships, or both? I'm asking.
It's both. They're connected.
I'm good with both.
Well,
yeah,
that's not true. That's not necessarily true. So as far as them being connected, because there are people that feel there are people that I've met where they feel confident in their relationship, but sexually they don't feel confident. And I've met vice versa, where it's not necessarily the thing, where you meet a guy who fucks a girl every night and he feels confident in his sex and drive, or but he lacks that, or they lack, I don't want to say he, but they lack that relationship of
those are both incomplete situation. Like the real complete involves both the romantic, emotional,
because even if you're confident in your relationship, part of that is the communication to help that connection, that sexual connection. Because if that sexual connection is lacking, that does affect other parts of the relationship. So like, you have to work on that together, kind of thing. Like,
and I was just asking Missy, like, all right, because she was like, I'm new to this confidence thing, so I'm like, I'm trying to.
Right. Well, the thing.
Well, that's a blanket statement.
I'm trying to unpack that blanket.
But that's kind of the whole point of like figuring it out. You have to figure it out for yourself before you can measure it against some other person's life that now is intertwining with yours. So like if you're like those incel dudes, right, that they're always complaining about how girls always go after the assholes and this, that, whatever. I'm like, man, if you guys spent half of the energy you spent complaining about women and hating women into making yourself a better person, you might accidentally make yourself fuckable. You know what I mean? Like You might stumble into being a better person where some woman would actually look at you and this guy has some redeeming qualities. But if you just fucking bitch about how you're not getting laid, but you look and smell like shit, I'm not even talking about body. I'm talking about like poor hygiene. Your clothes doesn't fit. You don't care about like your vibe. You say hurtful things. You say shit that you shouldn't be saying. Like, of course no one's gonna like be throwing themselves at that guy, and nor is that the reality. Like, people don't throw themselves at people who...
just because you're the underdog doesn't mean you're the nice guy, and a lot of them convince themselves they're the good guy or the nice guy.
Stop watching those movies, man.
Now
all right, so incel, because I've asked Mike this before, but he hasn't given me a clear definition. So
involuntarily celibate.
It says a man of an online community, a member, I'm sorry, of a the word of Freudian slip. Member of the online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active.
Yeah. Like they hate the dudes that are fucking, and they hate the women that are fucking the dudes that are fucking.
When I grew up, I called that a bitch. So that's when I grew up. Like,
or neckbeard is what I used to call it.
That's a bitch. Like, stop being a bitch. Like, I was like, but I don't know. Have you ever met an incel in real life, or is that just an online thing? Or they're like, because I've never met one outwardly. I guess they wouldn't fucking tell me.
So
like,
I had
like, fuck you, Neri, for getting so much pussy.
I had a formative experience when I was younger. I was in I was a formative experience with these guys when I was younger.
No, I was laughing at Neri's thing. I was laughing at what Neri said, like, because Neri's getting so much pussy, and that made me laugh.
Fuck you, Neri. Like, I'm not the target of their fucking anger. I guess I would never have been, so I wouldn't know if they were incels.
They're all like,
did they think that you were one of them or something?
They were all like, right? Don't you hate that fucking guy, Neri? I'm like, why would I hate him? Like,
aren't you one of us, Neri? Join us, Neri. You're like, I don't know.
Don't put me into this club. I don't want to be here.
I don't want to. I'm not here voluntarily, motherfuckers. I'm not here voluntarily.
I plan to get out.
Please. I didn't mean it. Just caught me off guard.
So Seth,
I just saw you melting in the corner. I'm like, I'm confused because I didn't catch what it was.
It wasn't you. So I'm sorry. You were saying about you had this formative experience with dudes like that.
Yeah, because like it happened in life like a few times where I would have this group of dudes that I befriended, and I thought that they were cool, and we all had the same interests, and I was able to indulge in my geeky side. But then one of them decided to like let me know he had feelings for me.
He got that feeling.
Yeah, and like, but the thing is, I had a boyfriend like the entire time of the friendship. I had a very committed boyfriend, and then they got angry that I wasn't reciprocating, and I lost the entire friend group because they all saw me as his potential person, and I didn't notice until afterwards.
And you didn't agree to that.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't agree to this. I'm not something to attain. For one,
I mean, well, that part I disagree with, but the rest I get no, man.
But they all had this conversation, and they all agreed, like, oh, these two would obviously be good together. Like, he obviously deserves her, and
they had a meeting.
But like afterwards, they told me like, oh, why? Like afterwards, they told me like, oh, why didn't you go for it? Like, why didn't you go for it? Like, he obviously like he's the good guy. Like, why would you not? And I'm like, I have a boyfriend, and I've always had one. And they're like, but you're so nice to him. I'm like, I thought he was my friend.
Right.
We hug him every day. I'm like, because I say hello.
He can still be your friend.
The friend zone is the bizarro.
He decided not to.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that a lot of these dudes live in the fantasy of that they've created in their mind of the role that they've assigned to you in their mind.
Yeah.
That you could not. It's not even that you don't want to live. That you could never live up to. That you are become some sort of like mythological figure to them, like in their head, where all I have to do is tell them how I feel about me, and then she has to love me. I've been so nice to her. Like it's some sort of transactional.
Yeah.
I can relate to that to some extent as far as like building a woman up in your head, you know, like.
Oh, I mean, I've done that.
You do that thing where you build up a situation in your head, like she's the bank teller, or you're delivering pizza, and all of a sudden, and then you take a pizza.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
Is that not the same?
No. That's
no, you got it. You got it.
No.
The mic's like, no, continue. Yeah, I get it.
Ladies, what
Yeah,
you're
I
hearing is
get
a
it.
metaphor. Okay, so what you're
You
going
build
to
it up as a
demand.
fantasy, and
No.
then you do this thing, and then you take pizza to her
No,
house,
like
and she doesn't
I-
blow you, and you're like,
Like,
what?
but these nice guys think that they can do too much. Like, I once had 2 guys try to trade me. Try to
What?
trade me. Yes.
Now, quick
Like
question, though. Quick
like a
question.
pog?
Quick question. Were you in mint condition?
Oh my
I was top of the
god.
line. I was top of the line.
Top shelf.
Did you
I
have a
was one of those. I
wrinkle?
was one of those shiny golden pogs
Were
that
you
had
still in the
holographic on it. Like,
Whoa.
Were you still in the box? What's going on?
I don't want
I was out of the box,
I don't
though. I was
want
out
to.
of
I
the
don't want
box.
to.
Did we not? Oh, I think this is a deeper like, am I wrong for thinking like this is of this like norm is the reason why the myth that men and women can't be friends exists? Or is that something that
I tried to
somebody in
like,
this
crow that for years, and then it kept defying me. Like,
well,
I was
maybe
just
I'm
like,
just ugly
they
because I have a
definitely
lot of
can.
platonic guy friends.
A lot of
no, like I
well,
did eventually
it's
find.
possible.
It
I
depends
did
what you
do
mean. It
eventually find
depends what
them.
you mean by just, in my opinion, right? It depends what you mean by just
Just
friends.
friends, yeah.
Because if you're just friends, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain levels of friendship, and if you're just friends, then you wouldn't have there are people who believe, and again, these are different people. There are people that believe that friends don't, if you're just friends between a guy and a woman, then you never talk about sex. So, because if you talk about sex, or you've never, there are other people who believe other levels of, if you're just friends with a guy, if you're a woman and you're just friends with a guy, then you have never thought about him in a sexual way, and he's never thought about you in a sexual way, which that one makes it a little tricky. Because
But
if you've never thought about, if one of you has ever thought about each other sexually, one of you, not both of you, then can the relationship still, quote, just be friends?
Well, it depends on your comfort level with each other, and if you have, because like sometimes even if you've thought about someone sexually, as long as you don't make it their problem, like
Right.
it's not their
Yes.
problem to deal
Yes.
with.
Basically, it boils down to as long as
You
you're not a
respect
piece of shit animal that
As
can't.
long as you don't tell
control
her that you're
yourself.
jerking off to her, you're fine. I think that's where you're staying right there.
Yeah.
No, this is a callback to the conversation
Yes.
that me
Yeah, I
and Martika had a couple of
No,
months ago. This is a callback to that, which is joking.
no harm, no foul. You know
I
what I'm
can't
saying?
believe that when we were talking about short brunettes that are like bodied, she didn't get the bat signal to fucking jump on
Oh,
her
yeah,
comment.
yeah,
Like,
What do you think, Martika?
You called?
What do you think Martika's signal is? Is it two booties? Is it two butt cheeks in the
I
air?
don't know. Is she an
or
ass
is it the
woman
silhouette?
or a
Is it
titty?
the silhouette
I
or
think
the-
it's a
or the-
silhouette. It's
the
her silhouette.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the thing on the back of trucker mud flaps.
I love it, man.
I
Yeah, that
love
would be
her.
great.
No, she's great. But what I'm getting at is, so I do believe that men and women can be friends, but
I 100%.
there is also
the just part is the part
Right.
that I get fixated on
Mhm.
because a friendship is a relationship
This is my
that has to be like, some friendships are more intimate and close, and some of the people I've slept with, you know, like sex does not make intimacy, sex does not make vulnerability. It's just like some
And why
friends,
do I cry after every time, Mike?
because I hurt you and you don't
And you
use
didn't say
enough
the
lube
word.
or whatever.
Why
The
did I
point,
cry every
It was emotional. It wasn't
Yeah.
physical. Or
I mean,
just
for
physical.
you, but that's for you. For me, it's not. For me, it's one of the every
Wham bam.
nary every night. What I'm saying is, that okay, if guys and girls are friends, like there's an inherent like lizard brain physical attraction where like I have a friend that's got big tits. It's like, yeah, those are big tits. I'm going to have the first
Mike,
round thought,
She's right here.
No.
She's right here. She's in this.
whatever it is. Yellow hair, yellow and blue hair, whatever it is, flannel shirts and glasses.
I have a.
The-
You could have picked something else. I have a friend who has big tits. I'm like that. Like,
my-
you could have said anything else. I wasn't like that. Wasn't.
I'm trying to think of
There are
like a
multiple people who
hypersexual-
have this.
Yes, she's not like the only person on earth with
Yeah,
tit-
but your friend.
whatever. My point being,
The point.
I'm trying to make a point that it's like we joke around on that stuff, but like if you're friends with someone, that's where the thought of it or the idea can cross your mind, but it doesn't. It's not taking up
'cause
the
it's-
entire part of their
And just
relationship.
Yeah,
because
it
it
doesn't, like,
crosses the
inhabit-
mind doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
gonna act on it or it's valid or it's appropriate or whatever. So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I get
I
it.
want you-
Are
It's
you
very
just-
meditative that way, where you acknowledge the thought and you let it keep going.
And
Okay,
let it
so
keep going.
are you just, and this is again because I get caught up on this word, I get caught up on words, man. So I get caught up on like just friends, right? So are you friends with, or are you just friends with somebody? Can you be just friends with somebody that you have masturbated with? Not that you can't be their friend.
Masturbated
is that-
with.
or you know what I mean, or thinking
Like
of.
Hey, you're the one
You
that
know.
cares about words.
Thinking of what I meant. Thinking
I
of.
mean,
Right.
So are you still just friends? Right. I'm not saying
can't
you not
honestly
just be
say
the friend. Are you saying I'm asking? What I'm asking is a person who's thought about somebody sexually, you know what I mean? Are they just friends still?
Yeah.
I mean, the
like,
other person
yeah, of
isn't
course.
feeling it.
Not the other.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the other person because it takes.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the defining thing.
It takes two people to be friends. It takes two people to be in a relationship. To be friends, it takes two people. So if one of them fucks it up, like that guy did with you, Steph, that
Right.
guy
Hmm.
fucked up that friendship. You didn't fuck up that friendship, so you're no longer friends. But it's not because of anything you did. But
Yeah.
but it still doesn't change the fact that you're no longer friends.
Once you let the fantasy,
But then it makes you wonder, were we ever friends at that
Right.
point?
But once you let the fantasy take over the reality of
Well,
what
what
a
if it's-
friendship is, if you don't know that, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about. This whole thing is about you knowing yourself and being self-aware enough to know that I can't be friends with this girl because the feelings of attractions are too strong. That's true. That can happen.
Mhm.
Where you're like, man, I really want to be with this person. They're a great person, but I can't separate myself from this attraction. I'm going to need to put some distance between myself because it's like an addiction.
You know
right?
why? Because you caught that feeling.
You got that feeling. That is a WuBro throwback. We gotta
That
bring
is
it back.
like episode 20 type of shit.
That's like a while back. But what I'm saying is like there's plenty of my friends or plenty of women in your life where you see them and you're like, oh, that girl's hot. You know, like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to have sex with that person. But then that's like not the predominant thought in your brain. Now, I've also been in relationships that weren't romantic, that were sexual, that were just like, you know, friends having a physical relationship. And then when you catch feelings, and then if you don't communicate effectively, then that can be a problem too. So it's like it's all about communication and knowing where the boundaries of the reality is, like not living in a fantasy and not building up expectations without actually communicating with the other person. So if you're friends with somebody and they're an attractive person and you're an attractive person, like you're not an animal. You don't have to act on those things. You're not gonna like you're not going to hump somebody's leg. You know, you're a human being with full capacity to be able to say that's where the line is. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
that was a conversation that we, Stephanie and Martika were having a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, I have said this before to women about that I see them as sisters, right?
Sure.
And Stephanie was like, yeah, because you're not attracted to them. I go, no, that's not. Hold on. You don't find them attractive? Is that? I think that's the phrasing you use. You don't.
Yeah,
find them
I mistakenly said
no,
that.
No. I have found women attractive, but I'm not attracted to them.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm not attracted to this attractive female is because I have got that bond of that sisterly brotherly bond very early on. And this sounds dirtier than it's supposed to be because Pornhub fucked that up.
Yeah, I was just gonna make that joke.
I know. Oh, I saw it. But I don't know how that became a thing. I really don't know how that started only a few years ago. I have no idea how that became a thing because porn was rampant for decades before they came up with the whole brother sister fucking.
It was always stepmom. It was always stepmom, and then it changed to brother sister. Like
even stepmom
always
weird. Did we have this conversation? Was it with you that I had this conversation?
I think we should talk about stepmom.
I mean, mine is watching the show right now. So
Speaking of which, we have a new Patreon. We have
really?
A new Patreon.
Is it?
Yes, because Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/WuBroPod, WuBroPod, you could submit to be our patrons, and Yolanda is our newest patron.
Can we give her a?
Oh yeah. I just got the notification now because she was listening to talk about Rookie and she's like, "Oh fuck,
I see that and raise you a pussy fart."
yeah.
She's like, hold
my mud slide.
No, she's in the
Yeah, that's awesome. Now they have to fight. They have to. It's like Highlander rules in our Patreon.
Yeah, she's paying more, so she wins. We're just gonna go ahead. I'm not saying I don't love Rookie. I'm just saying in this fight.
He keeps his comments to like condensed. He's like, I'm gonna throw it in here.
Yeah,
and then just alter.
She holds the high ground like Anakin did not.
Obi-Wan.
Should we?
I couldn't remember Obi-Wan's name, but I was like, he holds the highland like Anakin did not. I couldn't remember Obi-Wan's name.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, because I could tell you were vamping for a second. I'm like, what direction is he going in?
Good.
I'm not
Oh,
throwing him
man.
the life
What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Anakin is not. The guy who's not Anakin.
But not Anakin. Anna can't.
Oh god.
Anakin.
And it can't is when his arms and legs are missing.
Sound like Monica.
Yep, that's right. Oh man, so to wrap it all up in a bow and solve all of life's problems?
Mike has a girlfriend.
I have a
Mike has
girlfriend, and-
because
Are you gonna leave us on the call again when you tell us? Like, are you...
No.
Oh, that was my
you were
favorite
late.
part of last
You were
week.
late.
Oh,
You
so
were late.
good.
Yeah, that was great because you literally left us with our mouth open. Like, what?
We're like, huh?
What? So let's get to the "Am I the asshole?"
Yeah. So we have the one that you sent. I'm going to read it. Am I the asshole for not letting my best friend have her wedding on my property after being uninvited? Yay!
I'm already feeling like that's a.
One,
Bigfoot. Bigfoot, is that you?
no, I'm not going to do it as
Damn it.
one of my 29 male best friends, Carla. Hold on, I don't have my contacts in. I turn 40 tomorrow.
Now, did you have your glasses on during the date?
I took them off for the show because I wanted to look cool, but now I can't read.
What glasses are cool?
You know,
The fuck?
not really. Wearing glasses makes you a nerd. Did we not all watch Saved by the Bell?
It's true. I do have 4 eyes.
All right, go ahead.
Fine. My 29 male, that's the guy writing this, best friend, Carla, 31 female, is getting married soon. It's only meant to be a small backyard type of wedding, but they've been planning it for a few months now, and originally it was supposed to be on my property. They wanted it because it's private, has lots of open space for the reception, a nice view, and the house could be used for them to get ready and stuff. Of course, I said yes. She and her fiance, Rick, these are all names to be changed to protect the innocent. Rick, were very happy. Thing is, Carla and I do have a history. We went out on and off in college, but decided to stay friends.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Is this a dude? I lost that part.
This is a guy.
Guy writing.
Okay, so there's a guy writing. This is exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
How serendipitous. I'm going to play the lottery. Go on.
We went out on and off again in college, but decided to stay friends. That is a whole other story. Then I met my wife. We got married. Carla met Rick, and now they are here. Now here they are. Now my wife knows I went out with Carla back in college, and she didn't care. Carla still went to our wedding and everything. I never knew if Rick was told or not. It's not my relationship, therefore not my business to say anything, so I never did.
Correct.
Rick found out recently, and not in the best way. Not sure how, but from what I heard from friends is that one mutual friend told him, no idea why, we used to date. Now, not only that, but apparently Carla said a couple of years ago she was still in love with me when she was already dating Rick. Don't have actual confirmation if that's exactly what he was told. All Carla told me is that Rick was told about our past and he's angry at her for never saying anything. It became quite a drama and didn't really hear from her for over a month until now. She told me they're going to couples counseling and that the wedding is still on, but Rick requested that I not attend. It sucks, but I totally get why he would be comfortable. Then I asked the obvious question, where are they going to hold the wedding then?
This is like when Ted tells off Marshall and then he goes, I get to take the car, right?
To my surprise, she said they still wanted it at our place. Rick said so too, and in my mind, I'm going, he doesn't want the guy who dated his fiance years ago at the wedding, but still wants the wedding at his house? My wife and I are expected to just not be at our home that weekend.
And I told her, nobody said about the wife not being there. We just said you don't want. We don't want you there.
Right.
Your wife could still join us, but you.
And I told Carla no. They're going to have to find someplace else since we're not going to simply leave our home to them for the weekend. Not only for safety reasons, but it just doesn't make any sense. Rick doesn't want me around because he's not comfortable, but is comfortable enough to have their wedding at my house. They really want their wedding here, though, and because of it, I've been bugged by not only her, but also Rick and some other friends who think I'm being a petty asshole for not letting them have the wedding here anymore. Honestly, don't think that I am. It just doesn't make sense at all to have to leave our own place for a wedding we're no longer welcome to and leaving our home totally vulnerable. Still, being accused of sabotaging their wedding, and Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. Am I the asshole?
What the fuck did he do?
He didn't do
Rick?
shit.
Can
It's
I
always
just
do
say-
shit that exist.
Can I just say my favorite part of the whole thing, and we all felt it, was when he's like, "So where are you guys gonna have the wedding?"
No, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. You
So
know,
where you gonna?
so where are you guys gonna have it? It's like, oh,
Can I at least know where I'm not invited? Can I get? Why was he asking? Like,
Yeah.
all right, so
yeah. Here's the thing: is the asshole Rick,
yes,
or is the asshole Carla?
Rick.
Yes.
Okay, you think both?
Yes,
It's
because
obviously
For their
not
own
this-
reasons.
It's obviously not this guy.
No.
no, not the writer.
Right.
No, he's fine. And I don't think
He
he's
didn't
the
do shit.
I don't think he's the asshole for asking them where the fuck you get married now.
I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's the poster's wife who's the asshole. How dare she be so fucking cool about a previous relationship that happened before she came around?
I don't. I think
Ain't no
but
shit. She's gonna let them have her house. She like
I
she
I
come to
think-
my wedding. I don't give a fuck.
I think there's so many red flags that Rick is paying for that are not his fault. Like if this girl has said with her words that she was in love with him as recent as starting to date
Well, they were
this
still
guy,
together. Yeah, they were together.
then and it's such an extent. I don't think counseling is a red flag, but it's deteriorated the relationship to such an extent that you need to go to counseling before you get married. Like
Well,
it was that, but it
I don't
wasn't.
count that- I
but
don't
was
know. I
it
don't
that
count that against
easy?
them.
Was it that easy to like? I mean, why are they? If they're just starting to go to counseling because of the
They
situation,
could no, but they could be proactive about something because they realized there was this big problem that they didn't communicate about. They still want to get married, so they're
Can
trying
I-
to like
Can I
get
read
on
the-
something.
I want to read the first. This is the most upvoted comment on the thread,
Okay.
and I feel like it makes sense. Okay. This is from a commenter who read it. Rick doesn't want to get married anymore, but doesn't want to be the bad guy breaking up with his fiance. So he put her in an impossible position so he can get the sympathy when they split.
I mean, possible, but
He couldn't have done that just by splitting
That's
with
a reach.
her
That's a
from the
reach.
get.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that him still asking her to like either that or he's, I mean, they're clearly they're both stupid. Like to assume that you're just going to like continue to be able to have the wedding there is dumb. Like I just think it's dumb. Like how do you not?
I also
Like,
think it's
so stupid.
it's a very like I get irrationally enraged when I see these situations where one person is like, "Oh, you have a history with this person that has nothing to do with our relationship." I'm not saying that this is the case now. I'm just saying like generally speaking, you have to drop them. And that's not what's happening here, which makes it
Kind of seems like it is.
but
It kind of
she,
seems like that's what
if
happened.
she hadn't said that
why
she,
there's a red flag.
but if she hadn't said that she's
That's
in
why
love
there's
with
a-
him,
Can you hold this as a thing from here on out?
but if she had not said that she's still in love with him as recent as when they started dating, then I would be like, what the fuck? Like it would have been easier for me to be like, you're being stupid. And in that case, they're both stupid because you're not going to make me responsible for an insecurity that has nothing to do with me. So
Right. That's the point.
Right.
That is a
But
very
he still
good
doesn't
point.
have. He still doesn't have. Okay, so I'm trying to understand. Is Rick the boyfriend? Is that the
Rick
He's
is
the
the
fiance.
No, Rick is
fiance
the
of-
other guy. Yeah.
for
Right.
now,
the fiance? Right.
'cause he's
So
going
I'm trying to understand the point of view. Right. So the gripe is you withheld this information from me, so therefore I'm upset. Right, because I had to find out this way close to our wedding, and I had to find out from other people. Right. That I think that's what he's trying to sell. I think that's bullshit, but
Right.
that's at least what he's trying to sell.
Mm.
And if it was legit, then I would say that's maybe a legit concern, right? Like, oh, hey, you lied to me or you withheld information. That's a form of lying. Some people say I don't, but whatever. But you say, oh, that's a form of lying.
Depends on the information.
Right. It depends. So whatever, blah, blah. That's why I'm saying this information is not important. So therefore, you withholding this information is not important. So therefore it's not a lie. My opinion. That's my opinion. So what I'm trying to say is I think that's bullshit because he's not really feeling that. Because if he was feeling that, then he wouldn't want to have the wedding at this guy's house.
Right.
Mm.
if I really felt betrayed by my
that's the weird bit.
If I really felt betrayed by my fiance, saying like, I can't believe you withheld this from me, and I had to find out from other people. I feel like such an idiot. I'm like the village idiot. If you really feel that way, then you would not be having your wedding at this guy's house, because you would still be looked upon as the fucking village idiot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. That's reality.
I
like,
want to know
if you think people are thinking of you like, oh, what an idiot, he didn't even know about it.
If he has like so much quote unquote bullshit pride that he can't put up with this guy being around, then why could he be on the guy's property?
I can sleep in your house though.
And then those pictures are gonna live forever. You're gonna have wedding pictures, right? Hopefully you hired Stephanie and she took these pictures for you, and you're gonna have these pictures once she develops. If you pay her, she'll fucking develop the pictures. So then you develop the pictures, and then you have these pictures around your house, and your children are looking at pictures of when mommy and daddy got married. Oh, and we're at this beautiful house of the guy that used to bang my wife, who I had a problem with. Like,
who she said she was still in love with when we started dating.
That part I don't give a fuck about, because that was years prior to this. Like,
but
but they were together though.
Yes, I think that there is a key element that we're missing. And again, we only go by what's on the page on the post. But the whole process of Rick finding out, I need to know more. Like, I want to know who told him, because that would be a very revealing thing.
Tell me, baby girl, because I need to know.
I just think that I don't know. I feel like the writer, the poster is not the asshole for sure by a landslide.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that the couple is, I'm gonna say something really fucking bold, and I'm just gonna say that they're fucking doomed. I'm just gonna.
No, they're going to be together forever.
I'm not saying that they can't bounce back from this, but the odds are like a little Hunger Game-ish. You know what I mean?
The odds are not in your favor.
They're not in your favor.
If they're going through all this drama right before the wedding, and they're still trying to proceed with everything as usual, like as if nothing happened. Like,
here's the thing, though, it's not all this drama. It's just one drama. It's just a big one, but it's not all this. It's not like, oh, and he beats me, and like, it's not like all this drama.
But it's
enough. It's enough.
It's just one big red flag. It's just one big red flag.
Hey man, one red flag sometimes could be enough to be like, thank you.
I'm just saying the phrase of all this drama before the wedding. It's not all this drama. It's just a big drama. Is what I'm saying. I will say this: I would not have thought the poster was the asshole, even if he would have been like, you could use my place, but I have to charge you. Even if he would have done that, I would have been like, hilarious, and tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah. It'll be like, it's like, oh, we're still having it here. Yeah, for $5,000 more. Like, of course, like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, here's my Venmo.
People are crazy when it comes to weddings.
I'll drop a contract. It's straight.
Yeah, weddings.
Weddings are a recipe for fucking disaster.
But this also
so bad.
Sure.
Coming back around to the being friends with somebody, like, this is also a problem in terms of like who you stay friends with after you date or after you hook up or whatever. Like that is a whole separate argument to the, can you be friends with someone you're attracted to? Once you see it through, it becomes this whole other thing. That's someone I've never slept with, and then that's someone who I have slept with. I'm not saying it has to have all of the weight, but it's a lot more like feelings. People catch feelings, let's say, a lot harder after you hook up than before, we'll say. That's a tricky thing.
That should be like, if I'm the person that has the friend that makes you uncomfortable, it should be my decision. It should be my call. It shouldn't be something that you said, hey, so you hooked up with this person like light years before I even came into your life? Cool. I don't want them in your life. And you go, okay. And like, that's
many red flags.
Oh it's a banner. It's a fucking banner.
That's many red flags. That's not just one red flag. That's a lot of red flags.
Yeah, and then the audacity to just be like, okay, well, I'm having all these issues because of you, but I could still crash at your house. Get the fuck out. No, thank you.
But are we talking about the post, or are we talking about like just the situation in general of being friends with somebody who you've slept with?
Sure. I don't know. Either way,
I like to know that about partners I'm with, like which of their friends they had like with, just so that I could know where we're at. I could know how to like comport because
told-
if it's really fresh, I'm like I don't want to be all up on him
So
in front of them.
So
You know what I mean? Like I've had that.
Well,
kind
like
of thing
you're being like nice to the girl, like you're not rubbing it in that she's not the one.
Yeah, because like I think it's just so
Oh, that's
uncomfortable.
really
and it's
sweet
gonna
of
affect.
you. Because I would.
That has never even crossed my mind once. Where it's
All
like, yeah, you like that? You know,
Well,
like
'cause it's happened to me by accident where I'm acting with a person
We
just like I
get it.
usually would
Everybody
act,
loves
and then
you. I get it.
well, no, she did not, and I could not figure out why.
black out the camera, the shade, the shade.
Listen,
I stay friends with many of my ex-girlfriends. I have stayed friends with many of my ex-girlfriends. And there's one ex-girlfriend who I immediately told my wife about, right? Because it wasn't a big deal to me. And for a split second, she had an issue, and I was like, I don't deal with it. You got to learn to deal with that shit. Like when we were dating, and you know, things got figured out and whatever. But when my ex-girlfriend then met her now husband, I told her, do not, when they were dating, I go, do not tell him that we once dated.
Yeah. There's a
here's
weird thing there.
here's the
I
reason
understand
why.
it. I don't agree with it, but
I
I
don't like
understand.
that. I don't
But
like
here's
Well,
the
that.
go
reason
on,
why.
explain
Here's the
it to
reason
me.
why is because guys and women would take that information differently. My wife took that information and goes, "Oh, okay, whatever. It happened. It's in the past." Blah. A guy takes that information as you can't hang out with him. It creates bigger problems than it solves because it doesn't
But
solve
then you
anything.
shouldn't be with that guy.
The source
I'm
of
not
that,
saying,
yeah.
I don't think she should. But I don't.
But I'm saying, like, you already saw a red flag from him. That is a red flag for that guy. If you saw it as a potential of like this guy is not going to let you be friends with people that you
Right.
have a way past
But
with, that itself is a red flag.
Correct. It's a big one.
Oh my God, Nary with a new toy. I'd rather the air horn.
But you taught me that. Miss,
Um,
Mike taught me that. Remember?
I know.
Hey, get that picture of me. You remember the picture,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
we're not gonna talk about it.
My point
So,
being is that
Do
if
you
you-
think that was wrong of me to be like, because she here's the thing. So this happened with the same person, two separate boyfriends. So she told one boyfriend, and the boyfriend ended up hating me, never met me, never actually met me, just hated me. And then the next relationship that girl had, I was like, have you told so and so that we, like, you know, a decade ago and she was like, no. And I was like, are you gonna tell him? And she was like, no. And I was like, that's probably the best idea. Like, I literally agreed to that. I'm like, that's a good idea. I don't think you should. Because of what happened to the previous guy. With the previous guy, it was the same shit. It was like, oh my God,
That's actually a good point to keep in the back burner. Like, you should. Is that even a valid question to ask?
That's what I'm saying.
If you're jumping in, no, I'm saying like who among your friends have you smashed? I need. Is that a fair question?
No.
Honestly, for me, I prefer having those conversations. Like, just like, hey, just give me the heads up. Give me the heads up, because I don't want to go into something just
Michael, I need
I
a
don't even
ruling.
know that.
I know
What's in the past?
I prefer it.
It's not even about,
because
to be honest with you,
sometimes it's more about what the people around you are saying and like thinking and stuff like that. And I'd rather just know.
You just need to get better friends, I think, because I think
not my friends.
No, I'm not
my friends. I mean, like,
I don't mean specifically with you. I mean, like,
yeah.
worried about what other people are thinking, that circle of friends are thinking, then they need to get better circle of friends. If you're constantly thinking about, like, what is my friend thinking about? Like, what do they think of me? What are they saying about me behind my back? You just need to get better friends. That right there.
All right.
Red flag.
All right.
So what's in
I
there?
don't know, just
Let me just say,
I think I've always just been the kind of person I prefer knowing. I just like.
Not that
it doesn't alter anything. I just prefer.
I don't like asking the question, not because I'm afraid of the answer or because blah blah or because I'm I don't like asking a question because it's none of my fucking business.
Yes, the past is the past. Now, if
Like,
there's
we're sharing stories and shit.
If
like,
part of your past, but that's again, if it stays in the past. But if part of your past is still connected to your present, then that's a little more tricky. But what I'm saying is that, like,
then be now.
What soon? The past, like everybody has a past. The last thing you want to hear about is somebody else about how somebody else was like thinking about your partner cheating on you, because in your mind it's happening right now, of course, but it's the past, man. We've all been with other partners. We've all, like, that's the thing about dating when you're older. You know, like how you gonna date somebody with a kid and be like, oh no, she's never been with anyone else. You know, like, like it's the past exists, but the fact that you're moved past it is a very key element. So if you're still holding on to those past relationships in a way that's unhealthy, that's dangerous. Like if you're still friends with an ex because of some lingering subconscious thing, whatever, that you haven't fully addressed, that's gonna come up later. That's not the past. You know what I mean? That's present. That is happening right now. If it's someone you dated a million years ago and that those emotional ties and that relationship is gone and you've moved on from it, then it's not going to affect me in any way. So if it doesn't affect us, I don't need to know it. You know, like hopefully I'm emotionally, conscious enough to handle whatever comes up. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to involve more communication continuing forward. Like it's not a one-time conversation, because if it's like, oh yeah, this is my friend, we used to date and occasionally I end up sleeping at his house. We don't do anything, but whatever. The trust there would have to be incredibly strong and this continuing thing, or that's enough for me to say nothing.
I guess it's like a lot of like knowing those kind of things wasn't a big deal for me, because I literally grew up knowing that when I was a kid, like one of my like uncles, like you have like family friends that they might as well be Dios. Like him and my mom used to date back in the day.
One of those. Mrs. One of those.
What?
Yeah. Like him and my mom used to date back in the day, but then he was also like one of my uncle figures, and his brother was always like a friend and stuff like that. Like I knew that even as a kid, like that's her ex-boyfriend, but he's also like my uncle.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not that doesn't that's just a label on the thing, but that doesn't mean that the connection isn't still existing or whatever. Like there's no frame of reference for there without context. You know what I mean? Because that person could be just your Theo or whatever. I don't know your family, your story, or whatever they dated in the past. I don't know your life. But the point of the fact that they're still around, there's a relationship there. If I was in a relationship with your mom, there would have to be a lot of like trust.
What I'm saying is it would be weirder if like it was buried and like no one ever acknowledged it and talked about it, or it was like one of those things where like, oh, they didn't mention.
Acknowledge if both parties have moved on. Why does it have to be acknowledged? I don't
because it's more, to me, the hiding of a thing is more weird than it just being.
Not hiding. It's just not bringing up. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like,
but you telling your friend never tell your boyfriend this is hiding something.
That's not the same thing. I think it's
acknowledging like, not to say something.
Don't give him information that he's just gonna go crazy over. And it's true. It worked. It was true the first time. The first boyfriend it drove him mad.
But what I'm saying is making the conscious decision to not bring something up is you acknowledging that I'm gonna hide this thing because it's something.
Choose to hide something. If you choose to hide something from your partner, you know that it's something problematic. I'm not going to say it's bad, but there's going to be some problematic stuff coming up from that conversation.
Right, let's get to some comments. Hold on, because we're going long with our comments. Hilda says, this smells of continued drama and they just need to find a new venue. What makes them feel so entitled to still use his home? Get the fuck out of here.
Entitlement for sure.
Rookie says, the OP, the original poster, needs to end the wedding, get hammered, and knock the cake over or something.
Yeah.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
OP needs to attend, get sloppy drunk and knock over the cake. I agree with that. Yolanda says, the past is the past. Doesn't bother me. And she also says, for real, I love your mom, Mike.
Yeah. Like my family has a pretty I'm not saying it's always been like that and you have to work through stuff. Like, of course, that's, you know what I mean? That's part of the process, especially like when marriage is involved and kids and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that like there's stuff that will have to be addressed. And then there's stuff that if it's
inconsequential.
Exactly. Good word. Yeah. Inconsequential. It doesn't affect me directly, but it would be okay to know.
I didn't. Googling it again.
You could
piece
it together with context.
It has no consequence. Come on, you got this. It has no consequence.
It's a fucking joke. It's the joke. You guys are ruining the joke.
I didn't.
I know, not you. I said you guys. You know,
inconsequential.
Anyway, the point is, Mike has a girlfriend.
Yep. If we've learned anything today,
is that Mike
has a girlfriend, and he got the girlfriend by telling her, "I like you." I think we should date. I like you. You should
Revolutionary.
be my girlfriend.
That was the question that was never answered. How did
Yeah.
you guys make it?
Oh,
How did-
I know you kept changing.
Did you do the note?
That's what I asked.
No,
That's right.
I've just been like, we just had so much in common, and we're talking. I'm like, man, this is great. I've been really enjoying talking to you. And then when we finally met on the first date, it was like, wow, you're beautiful. This is great. I'm so happy that we matched. And I was excited to be there. How hard is that to do?
Yeah.
You know?
But how did you guys come
Oh my
to an agreement that it was exclusive? That you guys are
Did
now
you say,
exclusive?
will you be
How
my
long have you seen each other?
girlfriend?
How long
Yeah.
have you
You
been seeing
got
each
fed her
other?
It's been a
balloons.
few weeks, but what it basically was like, I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to date anybody else. I want to see this through. I'm in.
Was
You
that the
know,
conversation that you
Pretty
had?
much, yeah. We were because
Okay.
she's. I mean, look, I'm not gonna brag, but she likes me back, which is great. You know, like that's big thumbs up that she likes me
Gotta have
back.
Bigfoot found love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bigfoot have partner. But like the fact that like also if someone is like not giving me the vibe that she's into me, I wouldn't be trying to date them either. Like the last thing you want to be is like in a relationship with someone who's like tolerating your presence. Get the fuck out of here. That's
Or creeping your friend
We
out.
we just talked about this with friends. Missy and I were just having this conversation with friends. Not just relation. Well, not about relation, but just
Yeah.
friends. Like, don't be around when you're where you're tolerated. Be where people are excited to see you.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Be appreciated, and I think that's a big deal. I learned that lesson 2 weeks ago with a friend of mine. I was like, oh fuck, I feel like they're just tolerated. And I was having that conversation with Missy, and Missy was like, let me give you my favorite quote.
So what we've learned.
What were
Don't
they doing that made you feel like that?
I don't want to go into it now.
We can discuss.
what we've learned. Stop fucking people you don't like and only date people that like you. Like
I'm gonna write this
I'm not
down.
with that whole stop fucking people you don't like thing. I'm not with that. No thanks.
I mean, you love your wife. It doesn't mean you have to like your wife. Use your wife. Different rules.
Right. Yeah, right. No, but I'm just saying in general, you can fuck people you don't
The door opens.
You don't have to get a relationship.
Well, I mean, if you don't, yeah.
no,
I'm talking
I made
about
that
if you're-
mistake once. I ended up having a relationship with someone I didn't like.
Well, that's it.
Uh,
I mean, we don't want to
like-
talk about the previous co-host, but we're
No,
saying in
no,
general
I
is-
meant someone else. Like it
But we're
started as a
saying-
hookup with someone, like a
I know,
hate
it's just
hookup,
the funny thing
and
to
that
say.
part was fun.
That was a bit that I had where like the people who accidentally have children are the two, like every guy friend that has ever accidentally knocked a girl up, it's with someone they hate. They hate them, and they
Angry
because
sperm.
the sex is good and like the angry load is the most fertile because it's like, I'm gonna get you. You know, like there's like that's they hate each other. I'm not saying that you can't have sex with someone that you hate.
The angry load is the most fertile. The more you know.
Yeah.
All right. So things we've learned. Mike has a
So I'm gonna
girlfriend.
punch Dave before I want to have a next child.
Yeah.
Is what I'm gonna do. Got it.
Mike has a girlfriend. WuBro has a Patreon. WuBro also has a Cash App if you want to donate. It's Cash App $WUBROPOD. People who don't want to invite the host of the wedding should not be able to have that wedding there.
All right.
And that's it, right? That's what we learned today.
Amen.
And pussy
And
fart.
talking free. So those are the things.
And break.
And now we can eat dinner. Thank you for saying this
All right.
hour and a half long grace. No,
So yeah. So Mike's birthday in a couple hours, right?
it's true. Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Hour and a half.
Happy
Less than
birthday.
an hour and a half. It's gonna be Mike's birthday.
that's
So
right.
we say happy birthday to Mike for that. I would sing you a song, but I don't want to get taken down again for copyright infringements.
Oh Lord.
Happy birthday to you.
And then what else? Follow Mike on Instagram on all the socials at Mike Mercadal. Missy's writing. She's still working on the website, but it's coming along. It's gonna be great. So she gets some
You
amazing.
did like a whole big deep post as a lead up to it, though.
Well, yeah, it's just I sigh because I didn't think Squarespace was this fucking much of a headache. But I'm hopefully next week it'll be off. The
Let me
ground.
know if you need help.
We have to talk BFF because I use Squarespace and I've never met anybody else who's used Squarespace who's had a difficult time with it. It's
Sure,
been
we can
very-
Yeah,
talk.
same.
We never talk though, Neri, so we need to book some time.
Yeah, we're gonna squeeze in some time there. So make sure you check out at Missy the Writer on all the socials. Her Twitter is also at Missy the Writer, but the website is going to be missywrites.com. Stephanie's in lockdown right now because Australia thought they were all so high and mighty. We don't
cocky.
fucking need vaccines.
The mighty
You
has
don't
fallen.
need that shit. And the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but they have like
We had like 2 cases in our state, and we went into
See?
lockdown.
yeah.
they care.
What is it like to
Well, I
have
mean, if they really-
responsible leadership?
Well, if they cared, they would have vaccines. So I mean, let's not.
Well, we
get
do have
ahead of
vaccines.
it.
It's just no, but it has been a painfully slow rollout. It has been like one of those things where the rest of us are just kind of like, can you just hurry up? Can you just
This
get it
week we're
done?
going with kangaroos over the age of
Oh my God.
47. Kangaroos over the age of 47. And there's a line
That's
with
so
kangaroos.
wrong.
There's a line with kangaroos like, I'm here for my vaccine shot.
Yeah.
If you have an extra toe or a webbed toe, that's next in line. And then a week later.
So anyways, thank you guys for checking us out. Check out the Patreon. Check out if you guys are listening to the audio version of this, check out the video. Go to facebook.com/WuBroPod or go to YouTube, youtube.com/WuBroPod. Hit subscribe, and you can see the videos. I'm being more interactive with the video portion of it. Like I'm putting up pictures and shit like that. So maybe you get something more out of it.
Show appreciation, you fuckers. He's working hard. He's not a smart man. This is difficult for him.
Oh my God.
He doesn't know what metaphors are or words that he has to look at.
I thought you were the one who did
support
this.
him.
Yeah,
He wasn't using a metaphor. He was using an example. There's a different.
Oh my God.
But metaphors are forms of example.
Hey, can we end so I can get a snack?
I'll look it up right now if you want me to look up the fucking definition of metaphor.
Look, we already lost a viewer for this.
All right, guys. You guys been great. Thank you guys for time. Oh, wait. You love us happy birthday. And Hilda says, and happy birthday, Mike. So there you go.
Happy
Thank you guys for checking us out.
birthday.
That's how winning is done.